I never thought family could carve you up worse than the Thanksgiving turkey. But there I was, a fork in hand, staring at my blind date, my own goddamn uncle, while the mashed potatoes cooled between us like a lie too thick to swallow. He'd whispered my name like a secret weapon, his breath hot against my ear as the room erupted in screams. But it wasn't the affair we'd buried 15 years ago that broke the silence. It was the blood on his ledger. The kind I'd laundered for him without knowing. And in that split second before the cops kicked down the door, I realized revenge wasn't a dish served cold. It was the one you'd been force-fed your whole life. The call came on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, right as I was elbow-deep in spreadsheets at my desk job in downtown Chicago. The kind of grind that pays the bills but starves the soul. My sister Lila's voice crackled through the phone like static on an old AM radio. All faux cheer and that Midwestern lilt she weaponizes to guilt-trip you into submission. Violet. Honey. You can't spend another holiday alone in that shoebox apartment. Mom's beside herself. We're setting you up, blind date. Family style. You'll thank us. I laughed it off at first, picturing some awkward accountant type with a comb-over and a story about his glory days in high school debate. Lila and I hadn't been close since the divorce. Hers. Not mine, but blood's thicker than the bad decisions we make.
Right?
Or so the Hallmark cards say. Mom had been harping about my singleton status since I turned 30 last spring, her voice dripping with that passive-aggressive concern only a wasp mother from the suburbs can perfect. You're not getting any younger.
Vi.
And with Dad gone. Yeah. Cancer took him 5 years back, leaving a hole in the family photo albums and a bigger one in our bank accounts. By Wednesday, Idikaba. What harm could one dinner do? The venue was neutral ground, Aunt Clara's sprawling Victorian in Evanston, the kind of place that screams old money with its wraparound porch and heirloom china that could double as a blunt instrument. Clara's the matriarch, the one who kept the family afloat after Grandpa's business ventures went south in the 80s, whispers of shady real estate deals and IRS audits that no one ever confirmed. She was hosting the whole clan, Lila, her ex still lingering like a bad smell, my cousins from Milwaukee, and a gaggle of second removals I barely recognized.
Plus.
The mystery man. I showed up fashionably late. Traffic on the Kennedy Expressway, a snarl of minivans, and overworked Dad's blasting sports radio. My little black dress, simple, knee-length, the one that says I'm open but not desperate, hugged just right under my wool coat. And I'd even spritzed on that vanilla perfume Dad used to call Autumn in a Bottle. The house smelled like it too, roasting turkey laced with sage, cinnamon from the pies cooling on the sideboard, and that faint undercurrent of bourbon from Uncle Ray's flask, which he swore was medicinal. Clara enveloped me in a hug that smelled of Chanel No. 5 and hypocrisy.
Her pearls cool against my cheek.
Violet. Darling, you look radiant. Your date's already here, charming fellow. You'll see. She steered me toward the living room, where the fire crackled in the grate and laughter bubbled like overproof dough. That's when I saw him, tall, silver at the temples, that easy grin splitting his face like he owned a room.
Ray.
Uncle Ray. The one who'd bounced me on his knee at barbecues, taught me to drive stick in his old Mustang, and vanished from family gatherings after some falling out with Dad back in '09. My stomach dropped like I'd chugged bad eggnog. What the hell? Clara? I hissed, but she was already waving him over, oblivious or willfully blind. Ray extended a hand, his grip firm, eyes twinkling with that wolfish charm that had always made him the favorite uncle.
Vi. Kiddo.
Long time. Lila said you needed. Company. Lila materialized then, cheeks flushed from wine. Her arm looped through some guy's. Wait,
No.
that was her ex.
Todd.
Nursing a beer.
Surprise.
Ray's single now. Post-divorce. Thought it'd be fun. Family reunion with benefits. She winked, like it was all a rom-com setup. The room spun a little. Cousins clapped Ray on the back, toasting to second chances, while I stood there, the turkey's juices congealing in my veins. Dinner was a minefield. Seated across from him, at the massive oak table, laden with crystal and silver that gleamed under the chandelier, I poked at my plate while Ray held court. Stories flew, his latest consulting gig in real estate, flipping foreclosures in the Rust Belt, the Harley he'd bought on a whim in Reno, that time he outran a tornado in Oklahoma. The family ate it up, forks clinking approval.
Me?
I remembered the last time I'd seen him, at Dad's funeral, his hand heavy on my shoulder, whispering, "We'll take care of you."
V.
Family first. Bullshit. Ray had ghosted after that, radio silence for years. I'd clawed my way through community college on waitressing tips, then landed the accounting gig that kept me afloat but chained to audits and overtime. And now this, a blind date? It reeked of setup, the kind that simmers resentment into rage. As the pie was sliced, pumpkin for the purists, pecan for the heathens, Ray leaned in, his knee brushing mine under the table. "You okay?"
V.
"You look like you've seen a ghost." His voice was low, intimate, the kind that curls around your doubts like smoke. I met his eyes, those steel blue pools that had always promised safety, and felt the first crack in the facade.
I am fine, I lied,
forcing a smile as Lila raised her glass across the table. "To new beginnings," the clink echoed, but in my head, it sounded like shattering glass. We migrated to the den after. Board games and brandy the excuse for lingering. Ray cornered me by the bookshelf, his fingers grazing the spine of Dad's old copy of The Great Gatsby, ironic.
That.
"Listen, I know this is weird. Your mom and Clara, they thought it'd spark something. But if it's too much, it's not that." Words tumbled out before I could stop them, fueled by the Merlot buzzing in my blood. "It's you. Showing up like nothing happened. Like you didn't leave us high and dry when Dad needed you most." His face tightened, just a flicker, then smoothed into regret.
Vi.
"That was complicated. Business stuff. Your old man and I. We had our differences." He stepped closer, close enough I could smell his aftershave, sandalwood and lies. "But I'm here now. Let me make it right." The room blurred, laughter from the card table, the crackle of logs, Lila's giggle as Todd whispered something filthy. Ray's hand found my waist.
Tentative.
Then sure, pulling me into the shadows of the hallway. My heart hammered, not from fear, but from the electric pull of the forbidden, the familial taboo that whispered don't even as it dared do. His lips brushed my ear. "I've missed you.
Kid.
More than you know." We didn't kiss.
Not yet.
But as he led me upstairs to show me the guest room view, the stairs creaking under our weight, I felt the hook sink deep. This wasn't dinner. This was detonation. Up in the guest room, moonlight slanting through lace curtains like prison bars, Ray poured a scotch from a decanter he'd borrowed from Clara's liquor cabinet. The city lights twinkled beyond the window, Evanston's sleepy glow, Lake Michigan a black void in the distance. We sat on the edge of the four-poster, knees touching, and the words came unbidden. Tell me why you left, I said, the scotch burning a path to honesty. Dad died thinking you hated him. Ray sighed, swirling his glass, ice clinking like accusations. It wasn't hate.
Why?
It was protection. Your dad. He got mixed up in some bad deals. Embezzlement from the firm, clients' pensions, retirement funds. I covered for him, funneled money through my shell companies to make it look clean. But when the feds started sniffing, I had to bail. If I'd stayed, we'd all go down. My world tilted. Dad, the man who'd coached my little league team, balanced checkbooks with a pencil stub, quoted Hemingway over breakfast? A thief? You're lying. Swear on your mother's grave. He set his glass down, eyes locking mine. I took the fall for the paper trail, forged docs, offshore accounts. That's why I disappeared. Started over in Phoenix. New name halfway. But it ate at me. That's why I'm back. Tears pricked. Hot and traitorous.
I de duli siya dat.
Buried the grief under overtime and one-night stands. Now this? Ray's hand cupped my cheek, thumb tracing my jaw. You were always the smart one.
Why?
Too smart for this family circus. The kiss happened then, slow, inevitable, tasting of scotch and shattered illusions. His hands roamed, familiar yet alien, mapping curves he'd never touched before. We tumbled onto the bed, clothes shedding like old skin, the house below oblivious in its post-feast stupor. It was wrong on every level, incestuous shadows, betrayals aftertaste, but in that moment, it was catharsis. A scream building in my chest, not of pleasure, but release. We lay tangled after, sweat cooling, his arm heavy across my waist. This changes everything, he murmured.
No.
I thought. This is just the beginning. Dawn crept in like a thief, gray light filtering through the curtains, turning the guest room into a crime scene of rumpled sheets and discarded inhibitions. Ray was gone when I woke. A note on the nightstand, coffee downstairs. Last night was
Us.
I crumpled it, stomach churning, not from regret, exactly, but the sour twist of what comes next. Downstairs, the house was a graveyard of holiday wreckage, plates stacked in the sink, tinsel drooping from the mantel like defeated dreams. Clara was in the kitchen, humming Sinatra as she scrubbed, her back to me. Morning. Sleepyhead, she chirped, not turning. Ray left early, said to tell you he'd call. You two hit it off. Huh. I mumbled something noncommittal, pouring coffee black as my mood. Lila stumbled in next. Hair, a bird's nest. Robe gaping. So?
Spill.
Uncle Ray? Bold move.
Sis.
But hey, keeps it in the family. She laughed. That braying hyena cackle. And I wanted to hurl the mug at her manicured head. It wasn't the sex, though, that gnawed too. A taboo, itch I couldn't scratch away. It was the bomb he'd dropped about Dad. All morning, as I helped Clara wrap leftovers and fielded texts from work about extended holiday hours, Dad's ghost paced the edges of my thoughts. Had he really stolen from widows and orphans? Laundered through Ray's consulting? I'd balanced books for years, spotting discrepancies like a hawk. But family? Blind spot city. Ray texted at noon lunch. Neutral ground.
Need to talk.
I met him at a dive in Skokie. 4 mica counters sticky with grease. The jukebox crooning Springsteen. He slid into the booth, looking every inch the rogue, leather jacket over a thermal, stubble shadowing his jaw. You ghosting me already? Tell me everything. I leaned in, voice low, ignoring the waitress's side eye.
About Dad.
Proof. He pulled a flash drive from his pocket, sliding it across like contraband. Bank records, emails. Dates back to '05. He cooked the books for the firm, your grandpa's old outfit. I cleaned it up. But when the recession hit, the house of cards collapsed. Feds raided. I pinned it on a fall guy in Miami. Dad begged me to run with you and your mom. But I said no. Too hot. Why confess now? My fingers itched for the drive, but I held back. Trust was a currency we'd both spent. Because last night, it woke something. Guilt's a bitch.
V.
And you're the only one who gets it. Lila's too self-absorbed. Clara's in denial. We're the survivors. Survivors. The word hung, heavy as the pastrami on rye they brought unasked. We ate in silence, knees knocking under the table, the spark from last night flickering back to life. His foot hooked my ankle, playful, possessive. What now? He asked, eyes challenging. I pocketed the drive. I need time.
This. Us.
It's fucked. Ray. He grinned. That disarming flash. Fucked is my specialty. Back in my apartment that evening, a third-floor walk-up in Wicker Park. Posters peeling, radiator hissing like a resentful cat, I plugged in the drive. Files bloomed on my laptop, PDFs stamped with official seals. Wire transfers to Cayman accounts. Emails with subject lines like Contingency Plan VFD. Dad's initials. My throat closed. One folder. Buried deep. Collateral VR. My name. Violet Rayner. At 18, fresh out of high school, I'd signed off on a loan for Dad's business expansion, $5,000 from a client escrow. Funneled through my name because I was clean. He'd said it was temporary.
A favor. I de furguten.
Buried it under student loans and heartbreak. But there it was, my signature. Digital and damning. If the feds dug, I'd be the fall girl. Rage boiled. Hot and immediate. Dad hadn't just stolen. He'd saddled me with the noose. And Ray? He'd known. Covered it. Then bailed. Leaving me exposed. I slammed the laptop shut. Grabbed my keys. Thanksgiving was 2 days gone. But the real feast was vengeance. Served raw. I drove to Lila's in Lincoln Park. The city a blur of sodium lights and holiday garlands mocking my turmoil. She answered the door in yoga pants. A glass of Pinot in hand. Todd's laughter echoing from the TV.
V.
What's with the face? I shoved past her. Straight to the living room. Todd paused the game. Brows up. Family meeting, I announced. Voice steel. Dad was a crook. Ray covered for him. And you knew. Lila's laugh died quick. What the vi? You're sloshed?
See.
I didn't. I paced. Spilling the drive's secrets, embezzlement. The loan. My forged complicity. Todd shifted. Uncomfortable. Lila's eyes darted.
Guilty.
Okay. Fine, she sighed, sinking onto the couch. Dad told me bits. Years ago. Ray handled the mess. But it was ancient history. Why dredge? Because it's not. I jabbed a finger at her. That loan? My name's on it. If it blows, I'm the one in stripes. Todd cleared his throat. Hey, maybe law you up. Statute of limitations. Lila shot him a look, then softened toward me.
V.
Ray's back to fix it. That's why the setup. Mom and Clara orchestrated the date. Thought it'd bring you two together. Unravel the knot. Orchestrated. The word slithered.
Cold.
My own family. Pimping me out to the fixer? For absolution? I laughed.
Bitter.
You all used me. Again. The argument escalated. Voices rising. Accusations flying like stuffing from a torn bird. Lila cried. Todd mediated badly. But it ended with me storming out. The door slamming echo in my ears. In the car. Phone buzzing. Ray. Miss you already. Dinner tomorrow? I typed back, your place. We finished this. His address pinged, a loft in Pilsen. Artsy warehouses turned yuppie havens. I spent the night pacing, the flash drive burning a hole in my purse. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of Dad's face morphing into Ray's. Hands outstretched, pleading. Next evening, I arrived with takeout, Chinese, neutral.
No terki trauma.
Ray's place was all exposed brick and Edison bulbs. A king bed visible through an open door like a dare. We ate cross-legged on the floor, fortune cookies cracking under tension. I told Lila, I said finally, chopsticks poised. Everything. His fork paused. And she's in on the cover-up. The whole family's rotten. I met his gaze. You too. You let Dad hang that on me. Ray set his plate aside. Expression hardening. I saved your ass.
V.
That loan? I scrubbed it last year. Hired a guy in Delaware. Clean slate. Liar. I pulled the drive, waving it. It's still there. He snatched it, eyes narrowing. This is old. Backup copy. But doubt flickered, his tell. A tick in his jaw. Trust me. Trust? You fucked your niece.
Ray.
That's your trust fund. The air thickened. Charged. He lunged, not violent, but urgent, pinning me against the rug.
Mut claiming mine.
We fought it out in skin and size. Anger fueling the frenzy. After. Sprawled amid takeout cartons. He traced my hip. I love you.
Vi.
Always have. That's why I stayed away.
Love.
The word landed like a gut punch. Familial? Twisted? I didn't know. But as sirens wailed distant in the night, I whispered, prove it. Take the fall. Clear my name for good. His silence stretched. Then, for you, anything. Lies. All of it. But in the dark, it felt like truth. The week blurred into a haze of double lives, mine.
Anyway. By day.
I crunched numbers at the firm, eyes glazing over balance sheets that now mocked me with their precision. Phantom audits haunted my inbox. Every client file whispered, what if they find yours? Nights belonged to Ray. Stolen hours in his loft. Bodies colliding like arguments unresolved. Words carving deeper than touch. He promised action, calls to associates in low places, whispers of erased ledgers and ghosted trails. Give it time, he'd say. Post-coitus glow fading to strategy sessions over whiskey neat. But doubt festered. A Google deep dive on Ray turned up scraps, a 2012 bankruptcy in Arizona under a variant name, whispers on real estate forums of shady flips in Detroit.
No felonies.
But the scent of smoke without fire. I confronted him Friday night. Snow flurrying outside his floor-to-ceiling windows. The city a white-blanketed beast below. Richard Hale, I said, tossing my phone on the coffee table. The alias stared up, mugshot light from a civil suit. That's you, right? The consultant, who stiffed investors? Ray didn't flinch.
Just poured another round.
Water under the bridge.
V.
Hale was a front for the cleanup.
Dad's mess.
I burned it after. Burned what? Bridges? Or evidence? My voice cracked. The lover warring with the betrayed. We'd cross lines no therapy could map, uncle-niece. Savior sinner. But this? Layers of deceit peeled back like onion skin. Each stingier. He knelt before me, hands on my knees, eyes pleading. I'm not the villain here. Your dad was desperate. Mom's medical bills post-stroke. The mortgage. He skimmed to survive. I helped because family. But when it spiraled, I chose you. Kept you clean. Me? I shoved him back.
Standing.
You vanished. Left Mom scraping by on Social Security. Lila popping pills to cope. I dropped dreams of art school for this cubicle hell. All while carrying your bomb. Our bomb. He rose, closing the gap. His heat a magnet. And now we're defusing it. Together. The kiss was war. Teeth and tears. Surrender and siege. We ended up against the window. City lights blurring through condensation. My palms smearing the glass. After, as he slept, I rifled his desk. A burner phone. Scribbled numbers. A photo booth strip of us from a county fair when I was 12, me gap-toothed. Him dashing. Arms slung casual. Innocence weaponized. Saturday brought Lila's SOS. Family brunch. Clara's orders. Don't bail. I almost did. But curiosity, or masochism, drove me to the North Shore Cafe. All exposed beams and avocado toast for the elite. The table was a tableau of tension. Clara at head. Pearls clutched like rosary beads, Mom. Frail in her cardigan. Eyes darting, Lila nursing a mimosa. Todd scrolling stocks. Ray was absent. Stuck in traffic. Clara cut the bullshit over quiche. Violet. We've heard rumors. From Lila. Her gaze pinned me. Matronly judgment laced with steel.
This.
Dalliance with Raymond. It's unseemly. Unseemly. I snorted. Fork stabbing egg. Like covering up Dad's thefts? Or pimping me out to the family fixer? Gasps rippled, Mom's hand to mouth. Lila's flush deepening. Clara's lips thinned. Watch your tone. Young lady.
We protected you.
All of you. Protected? Mom spoke then. Voice reedy. By lying? Tom was a good man. A thief. I cut in. The drive's ghosts rising. Who hung me out to dry. The table erupted, accusations ping-ponging like bad tennis. Lila sobbed about loyalty. Todd muttered legalese. Clara invoked family honor. Mom just wept. Silent. Her arthritis-knobbed hands twisting a napkin to shreds. In the chaos, I slipped out, the bell tinkling like a guilty verdict. Ray's text waited. Brunch bomb? Meet at the pier. Sunset. I went. Lake Michigan churning gray under a bruised sky. Wind whipping my scarf like a noose. He waited on a bench. Collar up against the chill. A thermos of spiked cocoa steaming between us. They know, I said.
No preamble.
He nodded. Pouring. Figured. Clara's called threats of disinheritance. The works. For us? Or the secrets? Both. He handed me the cup, our fingers brushing electric. But I got news. The scrub's done. Your name's off the books. Offshore wipe. Untraceable. Proof? A screenshot on his phone. Redacted ledgers. Timestamps fresh. Relief flooded. Then suspicion. Why now? After all this? Because I love. He stopped, eyes darkening. Because it's right. And because someone's digging. Anonymous tip to the firm, your firm. Old files surfacing. Ice in my veins. Who? Doesn't matter. We're clear. But his tick returned. That jaw twitch. Liar. We walked the pier, arms linked against the gale, the lighthouse beam cutting fog like truth's reluctant blade. At the end, he pulled me close, the world narrowing to salt spray and his whisper. Run with me.
Vi.
Phoenix. Fresh start. Temptation tugged. Dark and sweet, the outlaw life. Us against the wreckage. But as gulls screamed overhead, I saw it, the flip. Ray wasn't saving me. He was saving himself, using our tangle to tie off loose ends. The sex, the confessions, all bait. No, I said, stepping back. I'm done running. His face crumpled, then hardened. You'll regret that. The drive home was a blur, wipers slapping snowflakes like regrets. At my door, a package waited, no sender. Just my name in block letters. Inside, a manila envelope, photo spilling me and Ray, tangled in his loft. Timestamps from last week. Blackmail? From whom? I burned them in the sink. Flame-licking glossy lies. But the smoke lingered. Sleep evaded, dawn found me at the kitchen table. Laptop open to ancestry sites. Digging Dad's side. Buried in obits, Grandpa's partner. Long dead. But a son. Ray's half-brother?
No.
Deeper, a lawsuit. 98. Ray accused of fraud in a foster scam.
Foster. Ray.
Orphaned young. Bounced through the system. Our family tie? Blood. Maybe not. The call came at 8 a.m., Clara. Violet. The police were here. About Thomas. Old case reopened. My blood froze. What? An audit. Your name came up.
But Ray.
He confessed. Turned himself in last night. For everything.
Confessed?
The twist hit like a sucker punch. Savior or Judas? I raced to the station. Snow-slick streets. Heart pounding. Ray, in holding, cuffed to a table, looked almost relieved. Did it for you, he said through plexiglass. Full disclosure, Dad's crimes. The cover. Your slate's pristine. But the photos? Someone's gunning. He leaned in, voice low.
Me.
Insurance. If you bailed, I'd leak, keep you close. Betrayal's knife twisted deep. You bastard. Family.
V.
His grin.
Faint.
Always. As cops led him away, I stumbled out into the storm. The world white and wrong. Revenge? This was it, him rotting for sins not all his. Me free but fractured. But the real hook, had I loved the monster? Or just the mask? The fallout hit like a polar vortex, freezing everything in its path. Ray's confession made headlines by Monday. Prominent consultant admits to decade-old embezzlement cover-up, buried on page B7 of the Tribune. but viral enough on local Facebook groups to stir the suburban hornets. Clara called it martyrdom. Lila dubbed it drama queen bullshit. Mom? She holed up. Phone off. Leaving voicemails of static sobs.
Me?
I called in sick. Barricaded in my apartment with a bottle of Knob Creek and the TV muted on reruns of Law and Order. Irony not lost. Work was a minefield. My boss, Karen with the perpetual bob, pulled me into HR midweek. Violet, we're aware of the family matter. No formal inquiry yet, but tread lightly. Her eyes said you're tainted. I nodded. Spreadsheets blurring. Every entry a potential tripwire. The anonymous tip Ray mentioned? Traced it to a burner email. Bouncing through proxies. Clara's doing? Or Lila? Spiteful in her mimosas? Evenings blurred into reconnaissance. I hit the libraries first, microfiche tombs in the loop. Digging probate records on Dad's firm. Grandpa's ventures weren't just real estate, they were Ponzi light, preying on immigrant enclaves in Pilsen and Uptown. Dad inherited the rot. Skimmed to fund Mom's chemo. Then Ray's cleanup laundered it through my naive signature. But the kicker, Ray wasn't blood. Adoption papers, sealed but cracked open via a shady paralegal contact, Todd's cousin. Irony of ironies. Showed him fostered into the family at 15, Grandpa's redemption project after a DUI bust. Uncle by courtesy, lover by choice. The taboo?
Self-made.
Not sinew deep. It should have freed me, but it chained tighter. Our nights, fevered. Forbidden, replayed in loops. His hands mapping sins I'd enabled. Had I fucked the villain? Or become one? The photos he'd planted? I kept one, unburned, tucked in my wallet like a scarlet letter. Leverage. Or lock it. Lila cornered me at the grocery, Jewel-Osco in Andersonville. Aisles stocked with canned yams mocking the season's end. She blocked my cart. Eyes red-rimmed. Breath sour with last night's cab.
Vi.
This is on you. Ray's rotting because of your paranoia. I gripped the handle. Knuckles white. He confessed to protect his ass. And you set this circus in motion. Playing matchmaker with a felon. She flinched, but fired back. We were saving the family. Dad's ghost, it's killing Mom. Ray was the glue. Glue. Laughter barked out, drawing stares from the cereal aisle. He was the solvent, dissolving us. And you knew about the fraud. The Foster lie. Her face crumpled. Clara told me. Years ago. Said Ray was damaged goods, but useful. I thought. The date would bond you. Make him spill. Fix it.
Bond.
The word curdled. Lila, ever the enabler, weaving webs from wedding Pinterest boards. We argued in whispers, shoppers parting like Red Sea shoppers, until she thrust a flash drive at me. Mom's insurance. Ray's last gift before lockup. Life policies. Nest eggs. For you. I took it, storming to the car, snowmelt pooling under tires. Home. Files unpacked. Not just money, but letters. Dad's scrawl. Dated 09, Vi. If you read this, know I did it for love. Raise the son I couldn't save. Keep him close. Mom's addendum. Forgive us. Blood or not. Tears came then, hot and howling, soaking the keyboard. Forgiveness? A luxury for the unscarred. Ray's arraignment was a circus, Evanston Courthouse. Metal detectors beeping accusations. I sat in the back, incognito in a hoodie. as his lawyer spun tales of coerced confessions and duress from familial pressure. Ray, in orange jumpsuit, scanned the crowd, eyes locking mine.
No Gwyneth.
No plea, just a nod, heavy with finality. Post-hearing, Clara waited in the hall, flanked by her pearl strand armor. You did this, she hissed, voice venom low. Pushed him to the brink. Me? I stepped close, breath mingling. You built the altar. The blind date. The secret's your script. Her eyes narrowed. A serpent's gleam. Family protects its own. Ray was expendable, foster trash playing prince.
But you? Blood.
Don't squander it. Expendable. The word ignited. I grabbed her wrist, pearls biting my palm. He loved me. You used that. She yanked free, composure cracking. Love, that's your delusion. He confessed to bury the truth, with you under it. The bluff, or truth. As she swept away, heels clicking judgment, I realized Clara was the architect. The tip to my firm? Her. Flushing the pipes. Ray's insurance photos? Planted to bind, not break. Rage crystallized. Revenge wasn't Ray's cell, it was dismantling the dowager. I started small, anonymous posts on neighborhood apps, Clara's charity galas as fronts for kickbacks. Whispers of her investments mirroring Dad's sins. Then deeper, Todd's cousin paralegal. For dirt. Emails surfaced, Clara to Ray. 07. Clean the books. Or you're out. Leverage. But the flip came midweek. A call from the prison, Ray.
Collect. V.
It's a setup. Clara's flipping state's evidence on me, but baiting you. The loan? She forged addendums. Your name bolded.
Paranoia spiked.
Why tell me now? Because I flipped too. Plea deal, immunity if I testify against her. But it implicates Lila. And Mom. The branches spread.
Thorny.
Testify. And shatter the core, stay silent.
And risk my freedom.
What do I do? Choose.
V. Us.
Or them.
Us.
The pronoun hung. Seductive. Visits followed, conjugal echoes in sterile rooms. Hands clasping through glass. Plans hatched in code. Ray's scheme, leak Clara's files to the DA. Frame it as her masterminding the whole fraud. I'd plant the seed. Anonymous drop. Untraceable. Execution night. Snowstorm raging. Chicago a whiteout war zone. I drove to Clara's. Envelope under coat. Heart thundering. She answered in silk robe. Firelight gilding her suspicion. Violet. To what do I owe? I thrust the packet, forged docs, her signature damning. Your turn to confess. Her laugh chilled. Blackmail? From the whore. The slur landed. But I held. Ray's talking. Unless you sign full pardon for us. All sins buried. Eyes gleamed calculation. And if I don't, the DA gets this. Your empire crumbles. Stalemate stretched. Clock ticking. Then, deal. Her pen scratched. Absolving. But as she handed it back, a smile curled. You think I'm the villain? I built this family from your grandfather's ashes.
Ray?
A stray I pitted. Your father?
Weak.
You're the fool. Betting the dog. The twist, her hand on the table. A recorder whirring faint. Trap sprung. Got you, she purred. Obstruction. Add it to the charge sheet. Betrayed again. I lunged, but she was faster, pepper spray blooming fire in my eyes. The scream ripping free as sirens wailed distant. Cops burst in, her call. Preempted. Handcuffs bit. Clara's triumph echoing as they dragged me out. In the squad car, snow swirling, I laughed through tears. Polarizing perfection, me. The Avenger turned accused, her. The spider spared.
No héroes.
Just survivors clawing the web. The holding cell was a concrete womb, cold, echoing, reeking of bleach and broken dreams. 24 hours blurred into paperwork and public defenders. My arraignment a farce of obstruction of justice tacked onto Clara's counter-narrative. She spun it masterfully. Poor widow, terrorized by deranged niece, in cahoots with the confessed crook. Ray, conveniently silent. His plea deal gagged. Lila visited once. Makeup armor cracking. Clara's bailing you quietly.
But why?
End this. End it, the cell's bars mocked. Bail came Tuesday. Clara's check like a gag gift, strings invisible but iron. Back in my apartment. Locks changed. I paced circuits. The forged pardon mocking from the trash. Freedom, but leashed. Work suspended, pending investigation. Savings hemorrhaging lawyer fees. Mom's call that night. Come home, baby. We fix this.
Home.
The suburb trap. Evanston's picket fences hiding rot. I went. Suitcase light. The Victorian looming like a mausoleum. Clara greeted with tea, chamomile. Soothing poison. Her smile a scalpel. Water under. Family heals. Heals. Lila hovered. Todd absent. Divorce papers filed. Rumor mill churned. Dinner was performative. Roast chicken. Green beans almondine. Conversation skirting the abyss. But under the table, Clara's foot nudged mine, warning. Or weird echo of Ray's game. Night fell uneasy. I crashed in the guest room. The same bed of our undoing. Dreams tangled. Dad's face in orange. Ray's hands chaining. Clara's laugh cackling. Woke to a text burner. Unknown, not over.
Ray.
Smuggling signals. Coordinates pinged. A park at midnight. Edge of town. I slipped out. Coat over pajamas. Moons silvering the snow. He waited in shadows. No jumpsuit, day release, or escapee's gamble. His hug crushed.
Desperate.
Clara's playing both sides, testifying against me, but cutting deals for the firm. Old partners. Implicated. And me. I pulled back. Breath fogging.
Bait.
Your obstruction? Her fabrication. But I have proof, recordings from the loft. Her voice. Admitting the forgeries. The flip again, Ray. The snake shedding skin. Why risk this? For us. His kiss sealed it. Urgent in the frost. Run now. I testify tomorrow, bury her. Meet in Phoenix. New names. Temptation roared. The outlaw dream. But doubt whispered. Another hook? We parted with plans, bus tickets. Drop points, but as I crept back.
Headlights spiersa, kop cruise.
Clara's silhouette inside. Busted. Or framed. The arrest was quiet, house call. No sirens to preserve family dignity. Back in cuffs. Ray's name on my lips. He forced me. Clara watched from the porch. Pearls glinting. Lies won't save you, Violet. But truth might. Interrogation dragged. Detectives tag-teaming. Coffee stale. Your uncle's spinning tales, the older one said. Paunch, straining his shirt. Says you plotted the whole thing. Revenge for Dad's death. Dad's. The room spun. He died of cancer. The younger leaned in. Complications. Poisoning traces. Inconclusive. Ray claims Clara, mercy killing. To silence him. The bomb detonated.
Dad.
Not cancer's thief. But Clara's? To bury the fraud? My scream echoed. Raw. Controversy incarnate. Polarizing perfection. Matriarch murderer. Or mercy angel. Niece conspirator. Or innocent pawn. Ray's testimony broke next day, live-streamed. Courthouse packed. He took the stand. Composed. Flipping script. Clara orchestrated everything. The embezzlement? Her directive. Tom's death? To prevent whistleblowing. Violet? Framed via the date setup. Blackmail fodder. Gasps rippled. Clara. In spectator pews. Face ashen. Cross-exam. Her lawyer shredded. Biased lover speaks, but crack showed. Forensics rushed. Dad's exhumed. Traces confirmed. Arsenic. Slow burn. The courtroom erupted as Clara was led away. Cuffs clinking her downfall.
Me?
Released. Charges evaporated like snowmelt. Lila collapsed in sobs. Mom. Wheeled in late. Clutched my hand. She did it for us. Protection. Protection. The words soured eternal. Ray walked free. Plea reduced to time served. Hero's badge. We met at the pier again. Dawn gilding the lake. His arm around me tentative. It's over. Was it? The family splintered. Lila in therapy. Mom in denial. Clara awaiting trial. Her empire auctioned. Us. Twisted roots. But blooming? I leaned in. The lighthouse beam forgiving. Maybe. But the final twist lingered. Unspoken. The anonymous tip restarting it all? My doing. In a blackout rage after the photos. A confession unsaid. Debate eternal. Justice. Or just another betrayal. We drove west that spring. Mustang purring. Windows down to desert wind. Phoenix waited. Blank canvas. But in the rear view, Chicago shrank, a scar. Not wound. Revenge served, no victors. Just echoes. And in the silence, I wondered if we'd screamed louder at that Thanksgiving table. Would the unexpected have been mercy? Or just another lie?